Hello SEH students, this is Mr. Glassman, and this is a brief video that will give you some pointers and tips and content guidelines for your entrepreneurial pitches. A pitch or a slideshow is an excellent opportunity to share your entrepreneurial idea with potential mentors, investors, partners, employees. It's an integral part of the toolkit for an entrepreneur. There's no one formula that works for everybody, but this outline will give you some of the key things that you want to make sure your pitch includes, and myself and Ms. Stokes can work with you to customize the pitch for your individual ventures. The first piece of advice that I want to make sure everyone receives is that it's really important to show rather than read when you're giving a slideshow. We really want to try to avoid having blocks of text that has the full paragraph of what you want to share with your audience, because they can read faster than you can speak. So when you construct a slideshow, you want to think about big, bold visuals, images, graphics, and there's certain guidelines around kind of the number of text you want to have on a slide and the size of the font, which we can talk about one-on-one. You want to start off with a cover slide. Usually this consists of your logo and the date of the presentation. Sometimes you could include your slogan and your name. Just as an aside, this logo is something that I was able to quickly throw together using a tool called Canva, C-A-N-V-A. Canva is also an excellent and free design resource to find beautiful slide templates. Don't make your slideshow look like this plain Jane black and white thing that I slapped together. It should be visual, dynamic, and match with your brand, and Canva is one good resource for that. You want to begin your presentation with a story. Most research suggests that you have about 15 to 20 seconds to grab the attention of your audience. So once you introduce yourself and the name of your business, you want to dive right in with the story of what inspired you to begin this entrepreneurial venture. Why is it important? Why should they pay attention? And why are you tackling a problem that matters to the world? From there, you say, that is why I decided to launch name of business or name of nonprofit. And this is where you should have that elevator pitch, that 1 or 2 sentence description of what you do and how you do it. From there, you move into the problem, right? So it's important in a slideshow like this to demonstrate that the problem you're addressing, and remember, the best entrepreneurial ventures address a problem, is felt by a lot of people. You want to use statistics and data wherever possible to show how this problem affects not just you as an individual, but many people around the country, around the world, etc. And then you present your solution. Use 1 to 5 slides here to give a demonstration of your product or service. Make sure it's well rehearsed. One good way to do this is to tell a story about a customer, right? What they currently struggle with in terms of the problem and how your solution could help solve that problem in an innovative and unique way. Remember, this is a great chance to show how your solution is different from everything else on the market. Is it better, faster, more affordable? What's that core value that makes you stand out? Then you're going to move into your target customer. Who are they? What are their needs? What do they want? A lot of you have worked on a buyer persona. You could draw from some of that research and put it on this slide. But be visual with it. Show a picture of a person that kind of represents the demographic and psychographics of your core customer. And then move from there into the size of your market, right? So you talk about who your target customer is. How many of those people are in the United States or in the world? And there should be a lot. This is known as your market, the number of people who could potentially buy your product or service. Oops, I just read off the slide. That's a no-no. So this is where you're going to also want to draw on data, statistics, and research to support your claims. Mr. Pavir, Ms. Paranovic, and the other library services folks at SCH can be really helpful with this. They have access to online journals and external libraries that can help you size and scope your market. Then it's time for the business model. And remember, whether you're a nonprofit or a for-profit, you have to be sustainable. You have to make money, right? So this is one slide where you should talk about the revenues you earn and the expenses, what you spend, right? It's also an opportunity to talk about your pricing if you're selling a product or a service, and back up that pricing with data or feedback from users, right? The most sophisticated businesses sometimes have projections as part of this section of the presentation. That means looking into the future, into how much money you think you could make after year 3, year 5, year 7. That's not necessary for each of you, but if you want to give it a crack, it's certainly something we can discuss. Next up is what we call market fit and the competition. So you should have touched briefly on your competition in the upfront slides, but this is a chance where you really dig into it. Who are your direct competitors? Who are your indirect competitors? One of the biggest faux pas that an entrepreneur can make is to show up to a meeting, pitch their idea, and then the people in the meeting immediately pull out their phones and they're Googling other businesses that do the same thing. You want to beat them to the punch. You want to make sure that you highlight the competitors in the market and you talk about what makes you unique. What is your unique value proposition in opposition to them? This is a great opportunity to just show logos or maybe a feature list rather than blocks of text. Oh, this is a little redundant, but this is where you talk about how your offering is better than the competition. What is your unique selling proposition? And then you want to close by revisiting your story. Move away from facts, figures, statistics, and make it personal. The opening and closing to a presentation are the most memorable parts. So why does this matter to you? Why should it matter to the audience? How can you revisit that story from the upfront? And then you close with an ask, right? This is my next step on the project. This is what I could use help with. Some people might want to raise some money. Others might just need mentorship, resources, help with manufacturers, et cetera, et cetera. So it's up to you to know the audience you're going into, the expertise that they may have, and to craft this last part of the presentation, your ask, in a way that connects with those people. So this slide may be different depending on who the audience is that you're presenting to. And then you close with your logo and a link to your website. So that's a brief overview of what your entrepreneurship pitch deck should look like, whether you're a for-profit or a nonprofit. Now it's time to dig in, open up Canva, go to Slides Carnival, outline your content, and begin building it. And Ms. Stokes and I are both here to help you with whatever you might need.